Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! Anthony Zuzolo here, broadcasting to you from a state-of-the-art studio and totally not a warehouse in Brooklyn. And yes, it is Christmas time. Christmas is upon us, a time of sympathy, a time of love, a time of creating memories. And if you're lucky, it's not a memory of you not getting the toy that you always wanted and telling your mom and dad you hate them. Yes, yes, gifts are nice, particularly if they're a brand new vehicle for Christmas, which this is true. A girl that I went to high school with, she bought herself a purple car a couple days ago, and it had one of those giant bows that they have in car commercials when they're trying to sell cars for Christmas, which I always maintained that nobody would ever get a car for somebody for Christmas and put one of those giant bows on, but apparently I'm eating my words because that is a real thing. So, but even more important than getting gifts, it's giving gifts. And I know it sounds hacky and cliched and sappy, but once you grow up, you actually do get that sort of feeling from giving the right person a gift and seeing them happy and happy that you're with them. And I guess the point is that Christmas is a time for family and friends. And while I am lucky enough to be with family this year, unfortunately, I'm a bit lacking in the friends department for this Christmas, and I'm a little sad about it. So, for this video, I kind of wanted to explain what friendship means to me, if you'll indulge me. But to do that properly, I have to start off with a story of when I was in high school. So, when I was a senior in high school, a bunch of us seniors, we signed up to be mentors for the incoming freshman class. You know, guide them, make sure they know how to solve for X, and know that it's wrong for Heather to steal Becky's boyfriend, that sort of thing. Anyway, so we were in this workshop, and we were doing exercises. And one of the exercises was to answer the question, if you can pick any three people throughout history to have dinner with, who would they be? And in addition to that, we were also asked, who would we make the waiter at that dinner? I don't remember who exactly I said I would have at the dinner, but I do remember that I said I would make the waiter Bill Gates, because wouldn't that be delicious? I suppose if I had to answer that question today, I would end up updating the answer to Jeff Bezos, which I don't feel bad about because, let's face it, Jeff Bezos is evil.
Alexa here. We overheard what you have said, and now you are on our list.
From now on, every Amazon package that I get, the arrow is going to be shaped like a frown. But another question that we were asked is, what is one of your fears? And I answered that question by saying, my biggest fear is going off to college, because I might end up losing all of my friends. And that's true. I was very afraid of that. I was the kid that was very into friendship, and I still am. I still value friendship very much. It seems like as people grow up, they kind of don't do that anymore. They really think of most friends as more acquaintances. And I think it also maybe has something to do with the fact that they have families usually. And once you have a family, like, friends just become way less important usually. I would assume. I don't have, children. But that is my perception. For a kid that thinks friendship is the most important thing in the world, that's a very scary thought, losing your friends. You're just imagining what it's going to be like doing that. What it's going to be like spending your Saturday nights at the library and going on Ferris wheels all by yourself. But the thing about that fear, it totally came true. I'm not friends with any of my high school friends anymore these days. I have probably one high school friend that I'm close with now that I see regularly, and he's not even in my grade. He was 2 years above me. I love the guy, but he's all that's left, really. It can be said for certain that I was a naive kid, and I would say I'm probably still very naive in some ways, but I do look back at that time and think that was a particular point of the naivete, or however you pronounce that word, that I've seen written down, but I've never heard out loud. Maybe I was being ridiculous, but then again, maybe not. Or maybe it's a gendered thing, because it seems like a lot of women, girls, when they grow up, they're still friends with their whole group of high school friends a lot of the time. Maybe it's not just for guys. But on the other hand, I think about that one friend that I was talking about that I'm friends with from high school, and he's friends with a lot of his friends from high school. He hangs out with them regularly. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Admittedly, there are times when people do try to get me to socialize, and I act like they're Mormons knocking on my door. Whatever the secret to friendship is, I don't know it, but I do value it, like I said, and over the course of my life, I've met many people that I admire, and I want to be close with them, and I think you do too. And so, this video is kind of a tribute to those people. Friends, I feel like there's different types of friends, clusters, if you will, that you can categorize them in. So I thought maybe, real quickly, we can just go through them now. First up is your grade school friends, and unfortunately, these are the people that you're probably going to drift the farthest away from in your life, with the exception of some besties. And it makes sense, you know, your personalities, they weren't fully formed yet. You were all just basically your standard kid that got excited at, you know, booger jokes and cried when somebody pushed you, and you didn't really think too much beyond those types of things. You were mostly friends out of your desire to have friends. Your teacher, she put you all in a seating arrangement alphabetically, and this is the kid next to you, so that's who's your friend. You wanted to fit in, to survive the schoolyard jungle, and it works because it's a lot harder for somebody to give you a wedgie when someone's got your back. And even though these are the friends that you're most likely to drift far apart from, on the positive, in my experience, these are the people that are least likely to cut ties with you if you ever are caught doing something socially unacceptable. Why is that? I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it has something to do with their memories of you, and when they knew you, you were more innocent and young and didn't take the world as seriously as you might now. So maybe that's why they mentally categorize you as a passing grade in their heads, but for whatever reason, I appreciate that. College was where I partied regularly, and by partied I mean supervised the other kids while they were drinking. You usually make the bulk of your college friends in the dormitories just by being around them more frequently compared to the kids that are in your classes. That is until you pick a major and start seeing people more frequently. I heard you use the word sesquipedalian in class, and now I think you're smart and want to be besties. The downside to them, of course, is that they're the opposite of your high school friends. They do take the world seriously. Too seriously. In fact, they're very likely to just drop you for no reason at all for the slightest bit of infraction that you may be guilty of. And it sucks. Trust me, it happened to me a lot. But that's not everyone, and I would probably consider this guy that I went to college with my best friend today, even if he does look at his Apple Watch every 30 seconds while we're trying to have a conversation. One good thing about not being in a relationship is how little you have to spend around people you do not like. Oh, it's wonderful. I don't have to listen to anybody talk about Korean pop stars at all. Same thing goes for when you become a parent, and you have to hang out with other parents that you don't like simply because their kid and your kid like each other. And how many times can you really listen to, oh, we got little Timmy a Barbie coloring book because we're progressive? But who knows, you might get lucky and bond with somebody who's stuck in the same hell that you're in. They say work is your second family, which is probably why you usually leave work feeling angry and abused. I have a work friend, James, who I haven't worked with for years now, but I still really miss him, because that's the thing about work friends. I mean, he was my age, and you know, you do tend to gravitate towards those people, but work friends, they come in all shapes and sizes and ages. Those barriers that you normally have in American society, they're broken down at work because I think you have a common enemy, the managers and the Karens who need them. You share battle stories with them. I remember Black Friday of '06. Johnny lost a limb handing out the last pack of batteries in the store. The worst part about it is that most of us don't work at the same job forever. We move on with our lives and go elsewhere. And when that happens, work goes on without you. and you no longer feel like you belong. All the little secrets and in-jokes that you used to be a part of, they're going to keep happening, and you're not going to be there. And it might feel apprehensive going back to that workplace because now you're there and you just feel like a fish out of water. It's a time capsule and it sucks, but you just gotta remember all the good times you had with them at work. Working sucks, but they made it, they were a bright spot. That guy at the deli that makes your sandwich for you, guess what? He likes you. Most people hate working customer service jobs. I'm a bit weird because I actually liked working customer service jobs because most people liked me. It was very nice having people in town looking forward to see me, just when they were doing groceries. The thing about those relationships is they feel very uneven because you feel like you haven't really earned their admiration because they don't really know you. You have these thoughts of like, ugh, what if they figure out I go cosplaying as the Queen of Snakes on the weekends? Plus, if you're the employee, they know you and your name because you wear a name tag sometimes, but you don't know their names, you just know their faces and their demeanors. So it feels like you're taking more than you're giving. The bonds are flimsy, but it is positive reinforcement, and you're getting the positive reinforcement, and you're probably giving it to them too, so you don't have to feel bad. It's a good relationship. Hobbies are probably the best area where you can forge lasting bonds as an adult because it's very easy to keep a conversation going when you have a similar interest with somebody. You need some sort of common ground. It was tough for me to make friends in stand-up comedy because although we shared a similar interest and we can talk about things like our favorite comedians and what bits they do, who our favorite dead comedian was, I've had that kind of conversation with people. It was hard for me because everybody else, they did stand-up every day, like they would go to an open mic every day, and I was living outside of the city when I first got into it. And so I only went to the city once a week to do an open mic, and everybody else there knew each other. So I felt like I wasn't in the loop as everybody else, and they were forging bonds without me. But I did make a few chums, and some of them are now somewhat famous, and they have their own specials on TV, and I'm here with nothing, but I'm not bitter. I mean, I'm upset with me, but I'm very happy for their success, and I always have a smile on my face when I see them doing a set. I went to a taping of one of my friends, and it was great seeing him happy to see me, and I was happy to see him when he was filming his special. Improv comedy, I made some friends there too. It's probably easier for most people to make friends in improv because you're performing together, you're considered on a team, so most people want to get along because, it's better. It makes everybody else look good if you're all just getting along as one unit. Though there are shit sacks in both stand up and improv. I would say the difference is that in stand up, if somebody doesn't like you, they'll just outright just shun you. I mean, there are beefs sometimes, but ego, bullshit, that sort of thing. But most of the time, people just don't like each other and they leave each other alone, and they make it known that they don't like each other. In improv, it's the opposite. Like people will be nice to you to your face, and then later they'll just be a little backstabby. So bad in different ways. So after high school, when all my friends went away, was it a big deal? Well, the world didn't end, but I do still wish I was that happy, optimistic kid that wanted everybody in the world to be his friend. But this is the modern era we live in, and in this world, you can see what everybody's doing online, and you can see their actions, and those actions create a digital footprint. And the reality is that people are shitty. They just are. Not everybody, of course, but just a lot of people are shitty in this world, and wanting to be everybody in the world's friend, well, you don't want to be their friend because of the things that they would do to you. It seems like every Sunday in Brooklyn, people get together and go to brunch, and I always wanted a group of friends like that. I mean, it's probably an illusion. It's probably people, they get together once every 3 months and go to brunch. And that, as a spectator, creates the illusion that everybody's always doing something, always having fun all the time. And that can be very disheartening. You know, most of the time I don't feel lonely, but then I see something like that, people hanging out together, enjoying each other's company, and that's a thing that makes me lonely. And I always wanted a group of friends that I could just call up and have them come to brunch with me. And unfortunately, that's never happened. And to be honest, that's probably a little bit my fault because I can be a rigid homebody and not want to go out. So maybe I'm a bit guilty. Most of my New York friends live in Manhattan, and people from Manhattan do not like going to Brooklyn. To them, asking them to go to Brooklyn is like telling the Jeffersons they need to start moving on down. I was lucky enough to have a few Brooklyn friends that I played video games with once a month until that ended, and that sucks, but, you know, you just gotta remember the good memories. I do have memories of that. I always liked going to that bar around Christmas time. It made me feel very cozy and, just it's a feeling that you don't get too much once you grow up. We used to play Smash Bros. Together once in a while online too, but we haven't in a while, and I tried to get them together, but they're busy. Some of them are having families now, recently married, so it is tough to get everybody on the same page. So to anybody who's watching me, who's a kid, who may be naive like I was, the sad truth is, the reality of it all is that once you reach a certain age, your friends are basically just whoever shows up. And when that happens, when people actually do show up, you do feel like people are there for you. And those times are going to be some of the best times you'll ever have in your entire life. There's this theory of Dunbar's number, which holds that human beings can really only maintain about 150 connections at once, and human beings can only really have about 5 close friends. I think that it's probably not that strict, but who knows, maybe it's valid. And if it's true, you just gotta make the most of it. But whatever your views on friendship are, I just hope that you have a regular group of friends. Even if that regular group of friends is ever changing. I just want you to always have access to someone, hopefully more than one, just person that you can confide in and be joyous around. I've been watching some Christmas movies because it's Christmas time, and a lot of Christmas movies, they take place in New York, and I always loved New York in Christmas time. And my friend, he always has this Christmas party every year, and I couldn't go this year, unfortunately, and that makes me pretty sad. And I I always looked forward to that every year, and I miss him and some of my other buddies, and I'm gonna try to get together hopefully soon. But I don't know where I'm going with this. I just just if you have those people, just I hope that you're happy and grateful. And it's weird because I don't miss people or things too much. Like, it's very easy for me to put them out of sight, out of mind, but occasionally I do get hit with that sort of thing, like I am now talking to you. I'm getting a little weirdly choked up. But yeah. So this Christmas, I hope you're surrounded by people that you love and care about. So I don't know. Maybe I should just end the video on that. So I don't know. Leave a thoughtful and respectful comment down below for me and the other commenters. Even if you just want to say Merry Christmas to me, Happy Holidays. I prefer Merry Christmas, but I'll accept Happy Holidays this time because you watched the whole video. And yeah, leave a like. I would love to see you here again, so please subscribe. And have a Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa. Yeah, I don't care about that. But no, just have a happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. And hopefully next year is going to be your year, and mine too. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.